Welcome to Life, Love, and Dogs, a podcast for dog lovers and relationship lovers and people who want to make their life better. It's Roger King and Deb Nab. Deb Nab, the Mutt Master, Roger King, creative services guy. And we're talking with Rick Finbow today. Rick Finbow, introduce yourself, Rick.
Hi there. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
What's your official title?
Psychic medium.
Psychic medium. You've been
Yes.
doing it for 30 years. You're amazing. We're going to talk about that later.
30 years, 42 years, over 42 years.
He's used to saying that I've been doing this 30 years, so that's what's in his head.
She's been doing dog training for 30 years. You've been doing that for 42 years.
Yes.
So how did you get started? How did it all begin?
I'm a natural born psychic, which means that I was a very sensitive child. So I'm very sensitive in every way, very empathic. And I was very sensitive to the elements even. I have a lot of allergies to pretty much everything. I had a roommate once that said, "You're just allergic to life, so just get over it." Allergic to trees, grass, everything. So when I was 5 years old, I was diagnosed with asthma and emphysema, which are like emphysema and asthma are an old person's disease, especially back in the 60s. My grandfather passed away of asthma and emphysema. I was taking it on from him. So at the age of 10 to 12, I started to grow out of all that. So very sensitive as a child, very sickly. And I learned to control the elements and control my response to a lot of the things that I was allergic to. One of the things that I'm allergic to that I used to think of as a really bad curse is that I'm allergic to anything with fur and feathers. And I love animals and they love me. And as I got older, I did grow out of it a little bit, but like the dog we have that you helped us rescue, Terry, the Cairn Terrier, just happens to be hypoallergenic, and I'm not allergic to him at all, which is a miracle. And that just kind of fell into place because we started looking for a dog. You know the story, and the story is just that I had never looked at a Cairn Terrier. I've always been looking for, we figured we'd have a Labradoodle or something hypoallergenic, a poodle. And then I'm a big Wizard of Oz fan. If you could see the rest of my Zoom studio, it's like got Wizard of Oz everywhere, Wizard of Oz, Wizard of Oz, Wizard of Oz, everything. I mean, I got the witch, I got Dorothy, I got everything over here, and never even thought to look at a Cairn Terrier because I didn't even think they were hypoallergenic. And I found out after we fell in love with Terry, because you posted a video on Facebook that we saw, and I said, "I think this is our dog." And my husband David said, "Yes, it is." And then I looked, and he's hypoallergenic, so it just was perfect.
So you have a Toto dog.
Yes, a Toto dog. So, and I was like, why didn't I even know that? I like adore the Wizard of Oz. I worked at MGM inside the Wizard Secrets magic show inside the Emerald City at MGM in Las Vegas when it opened in '93. I was in that show for 3 years. So anyway, I love animals, and I always thought that was a great curse, but I actually turned it into a gift as I got older because I realized that if I wasn't allergic to them, I would be an animal hoarder. I would have so many animals I wouldn't be able to take care. Yeah. Does that sound familiar? You guys take care of them really well, but I'd have millions and I wouldn't be able to take care of them. But anyway, so my life has been so amazing, and I've been able to travel and things like that, which I wouldn't have wanted to do or been able to do if I had a lot of animals. And I do help people with animals because I'm an animal communicator in my psychic work. Also, I do that. So being a psychic means that I use my intuition, and I use tarot cards to help me focus my intuition. I bought my first tarot deck when I was 16 years old, and then started reading professionally when I was about 20. And it just kind of fell into place. It wasn't something I was thinking I was going to ever be. People don't usually grow up to think I want to be a professional psychic. So it kind of just falls into place and it happens. Been able to do everything in my life that I've ever wanted to do, because I really do believe that we can, as long as your mindset is situated on the goal and you really have a passion for it, you can achieve anything. So I was able to achieve a lot of different things in my life. But it always came back to reading the tarot and doing readings. I'm also a medium, which means that I can talk to the other side, people who have passed, animals that have passed. And the animal communication has been really near and dear to my heart. And I just allow it to kind of come up. I don't promote it as much as the psychic and mediumship, but it does just kind of happen. When I had an office before the pandemic, people would come with their animals and I'd figure out what was wrong with them. You've actually come to my office when I had an office in Lakewood, but now I do everything by Zoom. So it's great because people can have like Cooper in the background there, and I can just tap into what's going on in Cooper's mind and body and feel that and give you some insight into what's going on in your animal's life. So that's really fortunate to be able to do that. And it's hypoallergenic because here I am in my Zoom studio and I get to feel into the animal's heart and feelings. It's great.
Can we talk about Cooper? Can we do a quick transition? And are you picking up on anything? Because Cooper is deaf. He wasn't deaf the first couple of years of his life, but now he's deaf. And somebody had him and used a laser pointer to train him because they lived in a house, didn't have a yard. It was a small house, small condo. An older woman had him and she thought she was keeping him busy. But Deb has dealt with this many times, and I'll let her talk about it.
Yeah, so when a laser pointer is used for a dog to get mental stimulation, what happens is it actually changes the neurological kind of synapses in the brain. And because what happens is they never get the reward. They're continuously chasing something that they never end up achieving. So that from the laser pointer, the dog focuses on lights and shadows, and then it can end up chasing after phantom things. And then after that started, he would start literally just growling at nothing. Now, could he be growling at something that we don't see? Yeah, of course.
We're wondering if he could be maybe growling at spirit. Is he seeing something that we don't see?
Yes.
So we just want to know, is there anything going on with him that where we could maybe help him more than we are?
So there's a couple questions that I'm hearing there. And when I do readings, even for animals, I help you kind of like hone the question down to be more specific. The more specific the question is, the more specific the answer is. So what I heard at first is maybe that the things that he's seeing are actual spirits or there could be things going on. A lot of people notice that with cats more than dogs. Cats will sit and like stare at something for a long time,
yes.
or they'll see things, because they're very intuitive and they're very empathic. And so aren't dogs. So dogs get to do it too, especially if they don't have the facilities of hearing or eyesight, that type of thing. So a lot of times, and because of that laser type of training, yeah, that does, like, the synapses in the brain kind of gets a little bit squirrely. Let's just look. So I'm using the cards. I'm using my cards.
Excuse me.
Tarot deck that I originated myself. I created myself. It's called the Eye of the Soul Tarot.
Those cards are amazing. We love them.
Thank you. It was very easy for me to manifest and print the cards like within 2 weeks once I found the how I was going to do the artwork. So I'm just going to draw 4 cards and ask the question of, is there something that he's really seeing?
He just got so quiet.
Yes, that's what happens a lot of times when I'm reading for other people, especially if they have cats. The cats will come over and they'll bother them while I'm giving a reading. That like he was pretty like, now he's getting up and saying, hi Cooper. See, he can't hear me, but he knows my vibration. They
Very
know.
much.
And so when we talk to them, they can't hear us. This is interesting because we do this with our dog is named Terry, and with Terry, and just recently, like in the last few days, he is so intuitive. Like I'm talking to him saying, oh, our friend Kathy's coming over. You love Kathy. And then he'll go and sit by the door and he'll start barking like, where is she? Where is she? Like he knows. And I'm like, oh, he hears me. He doesn't really hear me. He knows that somebody's coming. He knows my energy, that somebody's coming to see him.
Absolutely.
And that's what happens. So I'm going to just see if Cooper is seeing spirits, or is there something that he has like an extra sensory for. And the cards are amazing. So the the first card that comes up is the Queen of Cups. So, and it doesn't matter whether you're male or female, or the animal is male or female. It's just that the Queen of Cups is somebody that is emotionally driven. The card looks like Bette Midler, emotionally driven. Like she can make you cry just by the way she sings, but she's also in control of her emotions, and she doesn't care what anybody else thinks. So he is emotionally driven with whatever he's seeing. It's an emotional attachment to it. And there's expansion of his world. He has the Eon here. So there's an expansion, and it has changed like over the years. It's gotten more prominent for him, but it's his way of like communicating, because he doesn't have the hearing. So he has the emotions, he can have the feelings. And it's interesting because he also has the Empress, which is about self-love and self-care. And then he has the Princess of Discs, which is like your own business card. Okay. So it's kind of like, we have a pet sitter, a lovely pet sitter named Peggy. We love her. Terry loves her. And she says when he like barks at things, like when there's a truck going by or the garbage men come, he barks a little bit, not a lot, but he lets us know, like, and she says, that's his job. He's a watchdog, right? And all the dogs, most dogs, they like to have a job. So for some reason, this is like, he is seeing something in the spirit world or the emotional world, and he's just taking care of it. Like that's his job. So if you accept that, like just say, oh, and then like praise him for it. Don't give him a treat, but just like, good boy, that's great. Thank you for protecting us. Thank you for letting us know. That's what we say to Terry. Thank you for letting us know you're doing your job.
He is so sensitive, and he's always been very attached to me. And I think if he could travel with me wherever I go, he'd be the happiest dog in the world.
When we rescued him,
Yes.
we tried to find him homes. We took him on 3 or maybe more different homes. And for one reason or another, it didn't work out. And then one night, Deb was having a bit of a panic attack. And he talked, just like you're talking about, Rick, he just came up to her and laid on her chest and waited for it to subside. And then she said, you can stay. And that's how we got.
And he has always been very energetically tied into me.
Yes. And so, and as you know, like if you have separation anxiety for the animal is going to have separation anxiety. So like we have the great pet sitter, like I said, so we tell him he's going on vacation too. He gets to have a vacation from us. He gets to be with Peggy.
He wins the lottery.
Yes, it's like, but really, like if I have this anxiety inside, he's going to feel that. I could be saying it's a great vacation for him, but feeling that it's awful, like I don't want to leave him. Then they have anxiety because you're like saying, he's like saying, I understand that you're going away and you have anxiety about this, so I should have anxiety too. You know that, you teach that. So it's always the parents' fault. It's always the people's. It's always our fault. So
it's not the dog, it's you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So what was the other question that I heard in that? You had like, it felt like there were 2 questions in that one.
Just to see if there was anything else that we could do for him.
Help him, because he has episodes where he starts licking everything. He'll lick the floorboards and the dresser and your shirt and go around the house, and he'll go outside, and it's really, he gets into this weird zone, and sometimes we have to give him a sedative to pull him out of it.
Right. So let's just see. That's a great question too. Like, what else can you do to help him? Well, it actually said, it's so interesting. I love it. So it actually says there's swiftness of communication that you need to give him, and not to worry. Like, it's not a worry, it's just an anxiety. There's interference here. This is mental interference. So he's got some like an issue, like, but it's more anxiety. So, but don't focus on it and try not to worry about it. And again, like the swiftness of communication is you not feeling it's a problem, or like taking on that anxiety, like, oh my God, and you do everything right anyway with animals. I mean, I don't have to tell you, but you also do like CBD oils and stuff like that for animals,
And that has worked with him greatly.
yes. And it says you got this card as like the final card. It's called Art and Alchemy, turning whatever you focus on into gold. Okay. So whatever you focus on, you don't want to focus on the worry. This is worry in the physical world. You don't want to focus on the interference, but you do need to communicate to him that it's okay. It's okay. Give him some CBD oil and then treat it like it's not a problem.
Okay.
Because it really isn't. It's a
and
mental,
we needed to hear that.
It's a mental issue. He does have some cognitive stuff, but it's not like going to interfere with anything for him. It's just like that is what's causing this. I think he gets worried, and that's where the anxiety comes from. So if you notice that he does it at certain times, think about, what am I worrying about? I mean, and these days there's so much to worry about in the world. Just don't watch the news because you just worry.
Yep.
That's what's a worry like thing. Just don't do that, because the animals will start to worry too.
It's so funny, Rick. I could teach this like to anybody, like the back of my hand.
Yes.
And when it comes to my own, it's completely different. And so hearing this from you is a blessing. I may know it intellectually, but I need to hear it on an emotional level, because they're ours.
And that's why I have quite a few psychoanalysts and psychiatrists as my clients, because it's doctor, heal yourself. You can do it for everybody else and everybody else's animals, but when it comes to yours, you kind of forget it. It's like, what?
No, so, this is perfect.
Do you go to another medium? Because it's the same thing, right?
Yes.
Do you do your own cards?
So it's very hard to do your own cards, to do your own psychic reading, because you're emotionally attached to your outcome. So I do it every so often. And most of the time I am so intuitive, and from doing it, it's a practice over the 42 years, my intuition is so heightened. I kind of know or sense things anyway. But if there's ever a time, and there are times that I'm like really stumped, like I have no idea what this is coming from. Sometimes it might be global. Sometimes it might be somebody near me, or it might be mine. I'm usually good at that, but every now and then I need somebody else. So I do have a psychic that I go to. She's an older psychic, and she actually is in Salem, Mass. Like, if you want, but wow. I found her.
Yeah. The real deal, yeah.
And Salem, Mass has become so like hyped up with, charlatans and stuff, because, it's the witchcraft and all that stuff. But I'm from Massachusetts, so I've been going to Salem for a long time. Anyway, this woman just kind of like, I turned around the corner. I said, I think I need a reading, to David. He was with me. And he said, yeah, he said, and he said something about his mother. His mother passed a long time ago, and her name was Beverly. And we looked up, and we were on the corner of Beverly and some other street. I was like, that's weird. Beverly, she's here with us, right? And then I was like, we turned the corner, and there's this metaphysical shop, and there was a sandwich board out front, and it said, Beverly is reading today. And I said, I gotta have a reading for Beverly. So she is my psychic. That's the one person I go. So yeah. Like, so things Rick, like that happen for me. Things fall into place.
Can you give us some tips for clients who want to come see you as to what type of questions to ask you to help you make your job easier and move things along? There's got to be some questions work better than others.
Well, actually, I don't prefer that. Okay. Some people, they say, I don't have a question. And I have been doing this for so long. And one of my talents is to do a general reading first. And then we have stuff to look at. Like, if your relationship comes up first, that's what we need to focus on first. And then, but in the general reading, I can focus on a few things at the same time. Like, I see what you have going on right now and into the near future to about a year from now. And then, so after that, it's easy. People like start to just flow like, oh, okay. And they say, can I give you some feedback? Now, I like people that are a little bit skeptic, because I'm skeptical too. And there are a lot of people that will just take your money. And there's all kinds of different psychics too. And some people just read the cards. They know the cards. Like, I know the cards like the back of my hand. But I also am intuitive and allow it to like tell a story. And sometimes I'm amazed by myself. I'm like, I don't know why I have to tell you this, but I need to tell you this. And then I go, do you understand that? And they say yes. And they tell me why. And then it makes sense. So for me, you don't have to have questions, and I'll help you like I did with you, help you form the question so it becomes more specific, so you get a specific answer.
Well, and I want to speak directly to something that just happened. It was earlier this week. And when we called you,
we had a reading with you,
Yes.
and
It
we were
was
talking
some-
about Deb's horse.
it's something that
Yeah.
has been troubling me for, no lie, a month and a half, because we moved from Colorado to Nebraska, and Spirit, my horse, is still in Colorado. And through a series of events, I knew I had to make a decision about bringing him here. And I was only concerned about where he would be happy, not where it was convenient for me to ride him, nothing about that. It was where would he be happy? And all of the commercial boarding facilities that I was looking into, even though they might have been beautiful and perfect, but it just wasn't going to be, intuitively, I knew it wasn't sitting well with me. And so I kept having these pangs. And so I had to call you and go, okay, please tell me, is this my only option? Should he stay in Colorado? What's going on? And you go, I have to brag about you, because you literally said, no, Deb, those aren't your only options. There is another option coming. Now, literally, this was, what was it?
A week ago?
Oh, barely a week ago,
Yeah.
right? And so the timing of this was kind of narrowing down to, oh, I've got to make a decision. And you go, no, there's going to be something else that comes along that's better. And I'm thinking, well, we kind of only have about a week and a half.
So-
Like, how is this possible?
So we took Floyd, our 185-pound Mastiff, for a checkup. We talked to the vet there because she's in Hickman. She's right there. And we asked her if she had any connections because she's a veterinarian. She goes, yes, I do. I'll give you her phone number. Deb called her, and unbelievable.
Everything just went. The facility is beautiful. It's exactly what he wants. There was only room for one more person. I mean, I was like, I can't wait to tell Rick. I can't wait to tell Rick. But that's been something that I have learned about you. I mean, I've known you now for, oh my gosh,
10 years, 11.
Yes.
a
Maybe
while.
more.
I remember
Yeah.
you came to my 50th birthday party, and I hired you to give readings out to people.
Yes.
And
Forgot about
your
that.
intuition, just mind blowing.
I'm going to give you some more props. So 5 or 6 years ago,
Oh yeah, this is great.
you probably don't remember, but we were talking about possibly moving from our house. And you
Yes.
said, I see you moving closer to water, a large body of water. And like, okay, well, we're thinking Pacific Ocean, maybe moving up to Seattle or something. And then we ended up moving here, and we were half a mile from a big lake. So this is 5 years later, you called it.
And
Yes.
remember what you said was, you kept saying, Deb, I'm talking big. You
Yes.
kept describing the property as unbelievably perfect. Well, this is like our dream house times, however many. So
Yes.
you've been unbelievably dead on. And it's just, I'm so glad to have you as a resource in our lives when we, even though I am intuitive, but there are times when I just feel like I'm missing those pieces that you're there for.
Yes. And I remember with the whole house thing, you had 2 or 3 other houses that you were looking at, and I was like, no, that's not it.
Nope.
No, let that go. There's another house. There's another house. I remember that. So
Yeah.
that was good. But I also want to talk to something that you said, because this needs to be heard, and I haven't even really expressed this before either. But when you so let's talk about the horse Spirit. So you couldn't see like another possibility.
Right.
And when I told you that there's another possibility, that opened up for you. You believed it. And that opened up for you these channels to just fall into place. You talk to the vet has this, and then there. That's how my life is. My life is like that because I have like these infinite possibilities. So let me just tell you that 2 days ago, so today is Thursday, and
Right.
Tuesday, I have a coach too. So I'm a life coach and I have a life coach because coaches have coaches. And I told her, I said, I think I need to do more podcasts. I love doing podcasts. So my husband comes in and says, we're going to be doing a podcast. I'm going to interview you because I'm taking over hosting a podcast. So that was yesterday. And then you reach out last night and say, would you be on this podcast? I'm like, yes, all I have to do is ask.
Wow.
Right. Wow.
I love this.
And that's what I teach people, like, because that's what I do in magical life coaching. Everybody can lead a magical life, but it's really how your mindset, what your mindset is teaching you and how you're performing. You can just look at your life and say, wow, well, I manifested that, because we create our own reality.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else?
Are you okay if the dog that we originally wanted to talk to you about is a dog by the name of Noodle.
Okay.
And Noodle came into our lives, oh my gosh.
3 years
3
ago.
years ago.
She was a rescue. I was born in Roswell, New Mexico. She was in Roswell, New Mexico.
From there.
Pilots for Paws flew her up from Roswell to Centennial when we were in Colorado, and we picked her up, and she looked a little bit like our other dog who had crossed over, Gracie, way. And Noodle came into our life, but we have a lot of rescues, and we don't know if she's comfortable or if she wants something else.
Whenever we rescue a dog, we never consider those dogs owned by us. We take them in and provide them a wonderful life.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing I always say to them, always intuitively, is you are welcome to stay here for the rest of your life. We will always provide for you in every way. But if there is ever a home that you feel is better for you and your needs, you just let us know and make sure, I'll try to be open to that. And so that's how we have felt. Noodle, we have learned over the last about the last year.
Mm-hmm.
She's just seemingly more, I feel, would be happier in a home with either no other dogs, because she loves attention. She wants to be someone's everything.
She wants to sit on your lap and cuddle, and she is just the most perfect cuddle bug you could ever imagine.
And because we have the number of dogs we do, we have to kind of share that. So I had a family that has one other dog that would like another dog that I feel would be a possibility, a match for her. And then I also realized today she would be the perfect dog in a assisted living facility where she gets love from everybody, but she doesn't form an attachment. And so I guess what we're asking is, first, are we on the right track in thinking that she would be happier in a different setting? And then would it be more of a home environment or more of a assisted living environment?
Okay, so let's look if she would be happy.
Or something else, because I've learned you tell me to be open, so I'm open.
Well, so right away it comes up, she wants to work. She needs work. So she does, and that work is like being the lap dog, being the therapist dog, being the therapy dog. Your home is a little overwhelming for her. All the other dogs, it's a little overwhelming.
We could tell.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there is choices. Like it says that there's even more choices in the change. It looks like she's like a single dog owner, like she's the single dog.
That's what Deb was thinking.
Yeah.
The work that she wants to do, let me see if that's like assisted living stuff. Not so much.
Okay.
I think it's with a person that needs like a therapy dog.
Got it.
Not like, you know what I mean? Not like a therapy dog that's been trained for that.
Somebody who might be alone that could use that love that she has. That's okay. That makes it feels right.
Now, let me ask you this question. Is she more attached to you, Deb, or Roger? Do you know?
Probably me.
Yeah, it's you. Because a woman came up, so it's probably going to be a woman.
Yeah.
But you're intuitive. You can feel into it. Like we were so glad that you were willing to give up Terry because you knew it was our dog, especially and I told you about the Wizard of Oz stuff later. I mean, you would not believe the Wizard of Oz crap I have. I have the witches, you know,
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
the picture that's you know, Dorothy and Auntie M. I mean, I have stuff.
I love
That's
it.
great.
I had no idea you had all that.
That's great.
It's all over.
So, Rick, if someone wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to contact you? Is it Facebook, email, or what?
Actually, just go to my website, which is psychicrick.com. PSYCHICRICK.com. Psychicrick.com, or just look up my Google my name, Rick Finbow, or Denver Psychic. I come up the first page.
And I'm assuming you still do not just private readings, but kind of like what I had you do, which is private parties and things like that, events.
Yes.
And you're also teaching a class, aren't you?
Yes.
Go ahead and plug that.
I'm teaching my tarot deck. I teach it online sometimes. I had a online through Zoom. And in June, I'm teaching a class in person at the Full Moon Books store over in Lakewood. So I'll have room for 12 people. I already have 7 people. It starts June 9th, and that's on this deck. And I'll have another, probably in the fall, another online one. So I have clients all over the world too. I have clients in the Canary Islands. I have clients in Germany and Amsterdam, a lot of clients in Amsterdam because I did a show there. So I speak, I do workshops on all kinds of intuition things. I teach intuitive painting classes. And you can just go to my website. I have an events page. I'm doing comedy, and the comedy is always usually about me, like, you know, like whoever wanted to be a psychic, you know, and all these gifts.
Right.
Who do I thank for these gifts? Santa? Like, you know. Oh, you're so sensitive. You can't even breathe the air. Thank you. You know, so I love people. I love people. I love animals more, but just like you, but like most people.
Thank you for coming on our podcast. This is Life, Love, and Dogs.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Love you.
Thank you. Love you.
Bye.